Good evening. It's just after midnight and I've just headed down to the foreshore for another redfin session. I'm using a small shrimpy type craw yabby type soft plastic. Try and get it in focus for you. It's rigged on a circle hook which is pushed through and slid up around and then put through again to give it sort of a keel so it swims flat. And I then pinch the point into the plastic to make it weedless. Got about a 40 centimetre ish leader with a small brass ring. Hopefully the camera will pick that up. A small brass ring and just a very small 000 running sinker. So I'll just lob it out, let it sink down to the bottom. I'll just start walking along and just give me a couple of little taps. Leave it sit. Ooh, that was a hit already. If you get a tap, pause and let it sit for a bit and then try again. Often you'll pick up a fish. Just give them a bit of time to readjust and find their bearings. I've had a couple of taps so far. I've been here a minute. Light patches are always good because they hang on the outside of the light patches watching for shrimp and stuff. Darting into the... Oh, missed him. Darting into the light. When you get a good hit like that, it's a good idea to bring your bait in and just make sure it's sitting properly on the hook still. Now there's some misconceptions about redfin not biting at night. They do bite at night. In fact, night time's when I find that the big ones really come out to play. A lot of people don't fish for them in the evenings, which is fine by me because it's nice and peaceful and quiet. But it is definitely worth wetting a line through the night. Not only do you get good redfin, always a chance for a good carp or a golden, or when they're in season you can actually also target cod. Trout are another good one, particularly through the summer months when it's hot through the day. Trout love the evening. having said that, that's when I get the big ones. There's plenty of little ones around too. Another misconception is that you need a big lure with all sorts of flashy, noisy stuff at night. As long as there's a little bit of sunlight, a little bit of moonlight or starlight. So, in other words, on all but the most overcast nights, you'll do fine with a plastic with no noise. Although rattles do help. And there's a fish. So that's how long it took me. Stop it. He's not that big, but you know, for a fish that's not supposed to be feeding at the moment, he's not a bad size. So, you have literally watched the entire time I've been here. So you know how long it took to get him. Nice little fish. But yeah, don't let your misconceptions about fish or fishing get in the way of catching fish. It is, I guess, the lesson to be learned. Here endeth the lesson. Okay, so bread baiting. Take about a quarter of a slice of bread, squeeze all the air out, fold it in half, squeeze all the air out again. So you got a nice compact little package of bread. Then I use a smallish, oh come on, focus. What are you doing focusing down there? Use a small circle hook and just pin the bread through the middle. And that will give you a nice firm bread bait. And then just lob it out. Not real far because most of the fish are feeding in close. If they're out wide, then they're generally not feeding. They're down deep hiding for a rest or whatever. But generally speaking, fish come into the shallows to feed because that's where they expect to find smaller fish, yabbies, other crustaceans, insects, that type of thing. I don't expect them to find them in 3 metres of water out in the middle of the lake. They expect them to find them in the shallows around the margins. So when somebody sees a big long cast and says to you, "Oh, good cast," well, often it wasn't. You're casting into an area where you're not likely to get fish. Short casts, generally speaking, although there are exceptions, of course. There are exceptions to everything. But short casts are generally much more beneficial. Okay, and there's another little one. It's only been a couple of minutes, This one's a little fella. Another cod baity. Good fun. Again, I was just jiggling the plastic off the wall, probably about a rod length off that got hit. Can't have been much more than a rod length off, because I'm casting it out and I'm walking along the wall, and that brings the line in parallel to the wall at about a rod length out. So you don't have to be out miles to get fish. And we're on. Not a bad fish, nothing huge, I don't think, but not bad. See, I know it's the one, because the ones down the other pond that were pricking me the other day, but he's reasonable. Somewhere here, yep, there's some lip grips. Now, I've been getting lots of comments from well-meaning people telling me it's legal to release carp back into the water after you land them. In the ACT in New South Wales, no, it is not. It is illegal to transport them between waterways. It is illegal to release them into other waterways. But releasing them at the point of capture, which is what I do, is neither illegal nor is it even, oh, come on. Don't close your mouth at the wrong time. Should really take my camera off. That would make it a lot easier. Oh, stop it. Having some light would probably make things easier too. Oh well. There it is. Anyway, like I was saying, it's not illegal, nor is it really that damaging when you consider Lake Burley Griffin and all other lakes in Canberra, and indeed most of Australia, are artificial. Our native fish do not spawn here. The conditions are all wrong for them to spawn, so carp and redfin are the only ones that do spawn, which means they make up a very large proportion of the native fish's diet. So if we were to just kill off carp and redfin, like many people want to, then we'd have some very hungry natives. But like I say, it's an artificial environment. It's introduced fish, sure, but there's no good reason to kill them. not like you're doing anything, any favours at all. Oh, stop that. I just want a photo of you. Thank you. So back into the lake with you. And anyone who wants to make a comment, feel free. However, like I've explained, not illegal. Nothing wrong with it. You're doing no one any favours by killing it. You just feel good about doing something, I'm sure. So we're into a good fish here. Don't know whether it's a reddy or a golden yet. No, it's reddy. It's another nice reddy. Settle. Take him back up into the light. So there you go. Another nice nighttime redfin. Settle down. Settle. Taking again. Oh, he's scoffed that. Beauty of the circle hook is that you generally don't gut hook them, even if they do scoff the plastic. It's generally a lip hook. Come on. Which makes it nice and easy to de-hook them. So, another one. So, just got another one. It's just a little fella. Another lily. And let's pop that hook out. There we go. So I don't know, what's that, 4 or 5? 4? We'll go with 4. And another. Not a real big one. Again, took it on the paws, as a lot of them do. The paws is so important to throw in, because that's when you generally get the take. Look at him. Now the reason they flare their gills and throw their spine up like that when they're feeling endangered is because if a fish is swallowing them from behind, or a bird, it becomes very difficult to swallow. And you've got a set of expanded gills and a dorsal spine stuck in your craw. It's very hard to get them down your throat. So they get spat back out. Or at least that's the plan. Now if you're going down head first, well then, your dinner. Okay, this is a good fish. This could be a golden actually. Let's get you up. No, it's just a stonker of a redfin. Oh, don't have enough line in. Oh, that's a nice fish. Which is the best light? Probably the one up here. Unfortunately, I don't have my tape, but oh well. That's a really nice reddy. Not at all unhappy with that. Let's get some line out here. Again, lip hooked. Knew you were going to do that. Oh, stop it! Why would you do that? Stop. I was just about to take a photo. Please stop. So that's another nice fish. That's a really nice fish, that one. And as I've pointed out before, you don't need a big bait to get a big fish. It's got a little tiny bait that just got me a nice big fish. Fun times. And again, not out in the middle of the lake, but a rod length from the shore. So if you're one of those people that like to lob out to the middle of the lake thinking that, you know, a long cast is a good cast, you might want to rethink that, because often you'll be casting over the heads of some really nice fish. Particularly when you're bait fishing. You can often have your bait sitting for hours in an area where there's not many fish, out in the middle of the lake, when there's a plenty feeding right at your feet. Water up just down there somewhere. There he is. We can't see a thing with the lack of light, but he's right there. Okay, we've got another reasonable ready. If you were desperate, you could get a couple of fillets off him. Not as big as the last couple. Oh, come on. But still, not a bad little fish. There's another little redfin. Another little fella. Don't know how many that is, I've lost count completely. Lots. And another little fella. And always there are little fellas. This one's particularly little. Come on, stop that. A bit of a dark patch here between lights. Can't really get him, but there he is. It's bush. Well, it's getting pretty late. I think this will be my last. Oh, I think that was my last fish. Been getting a heap of small ones up here in the canal. but nothing special, so I haven't bothered recording them. But yeah, what a night. Nice carp. Couple of decent redfin. One stonker of a redfin. And an absolute ton of little stuff.